Hey guys, Mr. Nichols here to talk to you guys a little bit how our energy flow food web activity is going to be working today. So basically we're going to be exploring the relationship between organisms and how energy flows through them between predator and prey. So first things first, we got to get down some key terminology. So I would recommend reading through this background information section. That's going to get us acclimated with some key terms, things like ecosystem, community, trophic level, niche. So we need to make sure that we have a pretty good understanding of those key terms going into this activity. So, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be creating a food web. All right, so this is an example of what a food web will look like. Now, this is very different from the one that we'll be making, or the ones that we'll be making, I should say. But notice how the producers are all along the bottom of this diagram here. So the producers are all right here. Okay, so remember the producers are the ones that are converting the energy of the sun into glucose that then other organisms can then eat. So they're always the base, they're always the bottom. So then as you move up, we're going to add more and more organisms. So again, primary consumers are eating the producers, and the arrow shows the direction of that energy. So the arrow is never going to go from the predator to the prey. It's always going to go from the prey to the predator because the predator is the one that's eating. So in this case, the star cactus is being eaten by the kangaroo rat. So the energy is going from the star cactus to the kangaroo rat here. Okay. Looking back to what we are going to be doing for our activity here today, you guys are going to first be creating an Antarctic aquatic food web. And I'd recommend doing this on a separate sheet of paper and then taking a picture of it once you're done. So what you're going to do is you're going to use all of these organisms to create that food web. Now, to figure out what is going to eat what, if we look here for krill, for example, krill is going to eat diatoms, which diatoms are just small microscopic organisms. Oftentimes they serve as the bottom of the food chain in many ecosystems. So diatoms are going to be eaten by krill. Okay. The emperor penguin is going to eat fish and squid. The leopard seal is going to eat Weddell seals, the emperor penguin, and then the Adélie penguin. The skua is going to eat the fish and the squid. Weddell seal eats fish and squid. Small squid eats krill. Fish eats krill. Petrels eat krill. Blue whales eat krill. I think it's Adélie. I think I pronounced it incorrectly earlier. The Adélie penguin eats krill. The killer whale eats blue whales, skua, Weddell seals, Adélie penguin, and leopard seals. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw that food web out, and you're going to need to make sure that you label what trophic level each organism is in. All right, so I'd like to show you a quick example of what this could look like for you. So I'm going to just show you a couple food chains with this example, and then I'm going to be expecting you to finish the rest of it here. So let's say, for example, we're talking about the base of our food chain. As we mentioned, diatoms usually are. So we're going to put diatoms down here on the bottom of our food web. Okay, because remember, they're producers, and producers are usually going to be on the bottom. So let's go ahead and do krill next then. So we're going to have krill up here. Okay, now notice how we're going to have an arrow going from the diatoms to the krill. So that's showing that energy is going from the diatoms to the krill. So now let's say that we wanted to include, let's say the fish and the petrel here. So both the petrel and the fish, make sure that's in scale there. Yep. So both the petrel and the fish are going to eat the krill. Okay. So we should be able to start to kind of see how this pattern works here. So then let's say that we wanted to also include the skua. Okay, the skua is going to eat the fish. Okay, so here we can see these different layers of trophic levels. So at the bottom trophic level is going to be the producer. Okay, the next trophic level, so the organism that eats the producers, is going to be the krill, and the krill are going to be primary consumers. So as I mentioned, I want you to put their role in parentheses. So we have diatoms are producers. The krill, in this case, just because I'm only showing what's up here, are going to be the primary consumer. Okay. So then if the petrel and the fish, they eat the primary consumer, that's going to make them the secondary consumer. Okay, same thing with the fish here, so secondary consumer. And then that makes the skua, because the skua eats the secondary consumer, the skua is going to be the tertiary consumer. So this should have shown you a brief little snapshot of what this can look like. And I apologize if there's a little bit of glare here. I tried to move it around and make it be best visible. Hopefully that worked for you there. So let's go ahead and turn you guys loose to work on part A there. And then I'm going to give you a different set of instructions for part B, because that one's going to be a little bit different, and we'll be using Jamboard with that. So good luck on part A, and we'll see you for part 2.